Hello, everyone. Hobby Hotline Overtime, episode
Hello.
173. Doesn't look a day over 150. It's Tuesday show, 9 p.m., obviously East Coast, 8 p.m. Middle Coast, 7 p.m.
10:30 in Newfoundland.
10, yeah, exactly.
Gotta
Bermuda, I
mention
believe
that
it's
for all the
10 p.m. in Bermuda. So,
newfies out
welcome,
there.
everybody. Of course, we have Victor Roman Sr., the Ricky Card Specialist, and we have our pal Chris Harris from the tax-free state of Delaware. Welcome, gentlemen. It's the
Good evening.
Good
beginning
evening.
of a kind of residual hangover of some hobby news. It isn't hot takes at this point, but there's a couple things probably we want to discuss tonight. If you're watching out there, you can certainly call in, join us here. Love to have your opinion and chat with us, maybe educate us on a few things. The link is in the comments several times. So that's that. Victor, what's up? Tell us something. Tell us something right now, please.
Not too much, man. Having a good night. I was been anticipating this episode all day. Can't wait to get started.
Great.
Hoping that somebody joins us. At least one or two callers would be nice if they hop on. Keep in mind that you don't have to come on. If that's something you're not ready for or wanting to do, we can also, if you want to throw a comment or a question up on the comment section, that'll be great. Just as good.
Chris, what do you have to say there?
I'd like to repeat those comments.
What he said, right?
Yeah, what he said.
What he said.
We can really use some good callers tonight. So
yeah, we got I want to say hi to Rocco Rosato right there. Good evening, all. Let's roll with the hotline. I think we're all down with that. So thank you, Rocco, for joining in. Again, I'm not sure if there's anybody else out there, but we're going to talk about a couple things here. I guess I have to clear my throat because it kind of hurts to say this, but the Tatis nonsense. First ballot Hall of Famer. Well, before we get in there, though, we're going to have our boy Corey pop in. Corey, what's up?
Hey, guys. What's up, my guys?
Are you in the white Bronco right now?
on the
That's right.
405, getting away
He's
from
on the
the
405.
The
headed
juice
south.
is loose.
Your fake mustache fell off, man. You better put that back on.
Yeah, I pulled over here because late one, but not quite home yet. Thought I'd jump on and join at least for a little bit with you guys.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us. I've told Chris and I are kind of from the same gene pool, which is unfortunate for the other two panelists here. But Victor, I always say he's the most well-spoken person in the hobby, and of course, your opinions and your articulation are just as wonderful. So thanks for classing the joint up to both
wearing
Victor
a
and Corey.
shirt.
You're wearing a collared shirt for sure.
Yeah, who can tell? I'm not home from work. Haven't changed into the t-shirt yet. No.
So we're ready to talk briefly, brush up against Fernando Tatis Jr. Victor, we're going to have you go first. What do you say about this nonsense? Doesn't matter to you? Doesn't matter to anybody?
Well, yeah, I'll start with you said with Tatis. We're going to start with Tatis.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Softball. Yeah.
Just wanted to. Yeah, I didn't. To Bo's point here, I did miss the music T-shirt day on Hobby Hotline. So
well, again, we're same gene pool, man. You can't help it. Our parents still dress us.
Yeah, I'm one with Tatis. I got a couple of issues. First one being, it's one of them things that, to whom much is given, much is expected, right? He just got a $340 million contract. And to me, he's just been very irresponsible. We came into the season. He had a wrist injury. He was asked on live television about this wrist injury, and his response was, "Which one?" So apparently there was multiple motorcycle accident wrist injuries in the offseason. But I just think, there's just a very high level of immaturity that is being represented here. And, he let himself down. He let his team down. And he let the game of baseball down. and it's really a sad situation. And the sad situation for collectors is that some of us have hundreds, if not thousands of dollars invested or collected or spent on this young man. I know me, myself, I have a pretty good stack of his base rookie cards that I ended up sending into PSA. And I paid a pretty penny to get those graded. And the stuff is tanking from what I'm hearing and seeing, somewhere between 30 and 50% at the moment. And it's more than likely going to be taking more of a dive, because not only will he miss the rest of this season, but 30 or 40 games into the next season.
Right.
So this is just a complete disaster by this young man, and it stinks to high heaven.
Chris, what do you have to say?
As someone who has not plowed hundreds and thousands of dollars into Fernando Tatis Jr. cards, this is great news, because now I can finally knock those cards off of my checklist. So
you two get together
Fernando.
in the green room after the show. Maybe you can work a deal out.
Yeah, maybe.
How about you, Corey? Does this matter to you?
Oh,
sorry, Chris.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, Chris. So, it kind of matters, because to me, even I think if we zoom out from the cards, like Tatis was supposed to be part of this great new young crop of exciting players, bringing a different pitch to baseball, as it were, right? To create that element, bring new people in a sport that we're worried about a little bit. And I got sucked into it somewhat, but if we have to state our positions on Tatis, I bought 2 RPAs, sold 1 to break even. And so I'm sitting on 1, and it's kind of cool, because I'll hold it for 5 years and try to, get a little hope that he does turn it around. But what, total disaster. And the PEDs is the biggest disappointment right there, for sure.
Well, ringworm is no joke. So, I hope he has a speedy recovery. But again, it's a systemic thing with the hobby, I think. And I don't mean to have I don't pretend to have the last word, but how many times I use the analogy, some people are probably sick of hearing it. We're told not to touch a hot stove, but we keep doing it over and over again. So, and it's going to be applied to many of the topics we can talk about tonight. So, are we going to learn from this? I mean, we're in the TMZ age, right? Where we build these people up, and then somebody half of the card world probably wants player X to fail, half wants them to succeed, right? So it's no different than stocks. You want to buy low and sell high. So I think it's bad for the game, and I think it's bad for all the sports when this stuff happens over and over again. So
and how many times have we seen this, even after the so-called steroid era happened?
Right.
We got Ryan Braun. He popped a couple of years later, we had Robinson Cano get popped. And now we have Tatis, and pretty sure another 3 or 4 years from now, there's going to be an all-star caliber player who's going to get popped. And I think this is just going to keep continuing to happen.
Right. I mean, Rocco says, there's there's pressure on these people to get back on the field and all that stuff. But if you're riding motorcycles around and falling off motorcycles, then you're doing it to yourself. And Cooter, you're absolutely right. 23-year-old kids, I've made mistakes as a 33-year-old, a 43-year-old, and a 53-year-old that are just as stupid. But people aren't paying me what he's getting paid, right?
And if it's proven that he hurt himself riding a motorcycle, shouldn't there be something in that $340 million contract that he signed that says don't ride motorcycles?
There's clauses like that, right? You can't. I don't know which sport. Maybe it's football where you can't play basketball. A simple game of pickup basketball, right? Yeah. Stuff like that. So, but what's going to happen in that case? What are the Padres going to do? The Padres going to void his contract and then let him walk away as a free agent. It's everybody's an enabler here, right? I guess.
Year one of a 14-year contract.
Yeah. At least then I have to pay him for half a year, though.
Yeah. You can have all the motorcycles you want. It's crazy. Let's say
Jay Williams, just to mention Jay Williams, he's one of the guys who got, boy, he could have been a superstar really, and he got sidelined a couple months into his career from a motorcycle accident, really serious one. But I believe he had his contract invalidated for basketball at least, most of it because they had the clause in there that you can't be riding motorcycles.
Yep. Most of them can't go skiing, right? Stuff like that. And showing my age here, but Robin Yount was a notorious dirt biker, and for somehow he spent his entire career being able to ride dirt bikes and not get hurt, which is crazy. But different time, I guess.
One of the better cards in 1992 Pinnacle too. Robin Yount on a dirt bike.
And knowing Robin Yount, I wouldn't doubt that he didn't. Maybe he did get hurt, but he's a tough dude and powered through it.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
Mustache strength, right?
And possibly greenies and God knows what else they were taking back then. But saying hi to Abraham Pruder. Good evening, all. Finally able to have Tuesday to myself and catch Hobby Hotline live. Thank you, Abraham. Well, Cooter, of course, is here from the Oklahoma City area, and Bo is from just off John Nolan Drive there in Madison, and of course Don, my favorite Yinzer Field of Dreams cards. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
I do want to say one thing if I can. So with this whole Tatis thing, to me, okay, the situation is so bad that I started to ask myself, like, what am I going to do with his cards that I have? Okay. And I think we can pose that even to the hobby and as hobbyists. And I say hobbyists because I don't want to say collectors and I don't want to say investors because then I'm including one and excluding the other. But as hobbyists, if you're sitting on a stack of Tatis cards, what do? So I think we have one of two choices. We can sell now and just take your losses and move on and try to recoup anything you possibly can. Or two, you're going to hold for the long term and hopefully he can repair his reputation. He can come back, and it's really a 3 to 4 year road that this young man has to try to fix what he's done. So, do you hold or do you sell? And that's kind of the question that I'm asking myself right now with the stuff that I have of him. Because when you look at hobby love with guys who have gotten busted like this, it's the hobby love hasn't been good for the guys who have gotten busted.
To be fair, he is only 23.
23.
Yeah. And guys like Braun and Cano were in their 30s when they got popped.
Yeah.
So
but you know what? The real shame of this is Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols. These guys have had great careers, right? And we don't care about them anymore. Even Mike Trout. I mean, Mike Trout right now is in danger of falling off the face of the earth, which was unthinkable. He's had an interesting last couple of years, but he's about to possibly be irrelevant because it's what have you done for me lately in this hobby? And will there be room for Mike Trout, in 5 years from now when the guy was supposed to be racking up numbers and he may not even be playing baseball at that point, right? So
hype is a powerful thing, though. You look at individuals, say like Zion, they should have tanked, much deeper than he did with the number of games that he's played. Right. And there's that price inelasticity, that price durability. When people have bought in at high numbers, they just want to sit on it and wait and see, I think is so common. What do we do as a hobby? Probably capitulate could be smart because if it's going to go down, it's going to eventually erode over years. But when that hype is there, it just doesn't seem to happen fast.
I mean, it's always been there, right? The last 35 years, Jose Canseco cards were X amount in the 80s, 90s, and now, they're not. So
it was $100 card coming out of the pack in '86.
Yeah. for sure, right?
I sold my Team USA Raw McGuire for $200 to buy a 10-speed back in 1989 or something, and then I bought it back raw at the hobby shop, in 2018 for $5. It was a pretty good trade. Yeah.
So Dan Ryan says we've had 75 PED suspensions according to Wikipedia since 2005.
That's pretty cool,
which is crazy. So
I
thanks,
like
Dan, for that. Ziggy's around. Ziggy says hi to everybody. Thanks for coming.
Hey.
Let's see what else here. Yeah. So
Did we lose him?
He's a dime a dozen at this point. Like it could be any one of these guys we could be reading about. But a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about BBCE. I guess a lot of talk about that. Let's start with Corey on that. Corey, what are your opinions on what's going on over there?
It's bad. It's bad for the hobby, I think, to lose faith in an organization, which I believe is happening when it comes to these sealed products. Like I realize that they've come back out and said this could have been a collation issue that came out of the factory that way, that not everyone was perfectly collated, but it doesn't really matter even if they're right, because the doubt is in the air. And so when it comes to these sealed products, it just concerns me. And then you don't want that to leak into doubts about grading, which we know there's inconsistencies, but you just don't want that top of mind. You want to trust the grade that you have, the authentication that you have. And anytime we see that mixed into the pot, it doesn't help the stew.
Chris?
This is what, the second mistake that BBC has made in the last couple of months, between the Pokemon case and now this.
They're not little ones either. They're
not little ones.
They're not 87 tops.
But the thing with the Pokemon case, I'll give them this. They're not experts in Pokemon, and they probably shouldn't have examined that and sealed it.
Right.
As for this, the 86-87 Fleer box, you take a Fleer box from any sport from that era. I mean, Fleer products were known for being well collated. You rip open an 86 Fleer baseball box, and you're probably going to get 540 base cards and maybe only like a couple of doubles. Whereas other companies from that era, like Donruss, you're going to get, I mean, those are awfully collated.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's plausible that it may have came from the factory that way, but
there's no anecdotal evidence. Yeah,
being that poorly collated.
Right. I mean, I think that's the big thing, is there's no precedence for that, as well as far as I'm aware of, for that particular box. So why in 2022 is that the case, that a bag full of Johnsons in one pack is what happened, right? Johnson after Johnson. It's like a sausage fest.
I wondered, John, how many people like me, I had not previously known that these 86 Fleer boxes weren't sealed. They weren't originally sealed. And so the authentication of these packs depends on them looking at the backs of the packs to see, what type of collation pattern that they're looking at, and does it look legit. And so I think it kind of devalues the 86 Fleer boxes. Now, it might raise up the authenticity of the cases, which can have the seal, but the boxes themselves, knowing that they're actually not sealed, and someone could just have taken 36 packs and dropped into a box and said, "Hey, I got a complete box." That might bring that down just a smidge at least.
Yeah, it really wasn't industry standard to begin sealing hobby boxes until around the early 90s anyway.
Yeah.
So
They weren't wrapped in plastic. They were meant to be put on drugstore counters and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Victor, what do you got on this?
Well, Baseball Card Exchange just so happens to be my local card shop. And I remember Steve Hart and Baseball Card Exchange when they were in Lansing, Illinois, back in the 1990s. And I can tell you that this hurts. This really is a black eye to this company, and what they've really damaged is credibility. And the part that is irritating me the most is in the response that Steve Hart put out about this letter, kind of giving his explanation and falling on the fact that he has a no guarantee business model. And I think that the damage is done. And I think if Steve Hart and Baseball Card Exchange want to regain some of that credibility, he's going to need to change his business model, his philosophy on guarantee. And I don't know what he has to do to reinvent the wheel, but I think he's lost some trust, and he's going to have to rebuild that trust some way, somehow. He's going to have to make some kind of change. But to say my hands are clean because I give no guarantee is a bad move. And if he stays firm to that decision, it's going to backfire on him, I believe, long term.
Right. And, John Newman had a good point there. The more you try to justify it, it's almost like you're digging a deeper hole. I think Ziggy had something on his show recently about this, where somebody in May mentioned this box, how it was a Franken box and packs were taken out and put in from other things. So it's this isn't a something that happened over the National. This has been in the works for a while. And to me, if you're buying a 36, if you're buying a wax box, right, the assumption should be that you're buying a factory packed wax box. Again, they weren't sealed or wrapped back then, but picking out packs and trying to build an authentic box isn't an authentic box. It's just 36 packs, in my opinion. And if you pretend to be an expert and you charge people for your expertise, and which is why to me the Pokemon thing is unforgivable. You can't explain that away saying you're not an expert, or other people saying that's not his forte. Well, I'm sure he
should have graded that case in the first place.
I'm sure the money was I'm sure the money he received to grade it was very authentic. So you're selling your services, provide your services, right? And it's
right.
I do have a problem. I don't have a dog in this fight because I don't send anything off to anybody like this. But I think, to me, the thing that does rub me the wrong way is, this pack may have been tampered. Let me grab another one off the shelf or whatever and put it in there and make things right. As people have mentioned in the chat, that there is a rhyme or reason to the collation in a lot of these boxes. And then so you're disrupting that if you pull a pack from somewhere else, right? So I have a problem with that. I also don't quite understand how you can authenticate a wax pack. There's people that are made Pete Rose knockoffs by the thousands in the 80s, the Pete Rose rookie cards, Mickey Mantle rookies. We're still finding fake cards. Yeah, it's got to be easier to fake a seal on a wax pack of cards, I would think, right? So what are we doing there?
You've got people faking airline parts out there. I mean,
exactly. Dude,
I would think a wax pack is very feasible. So I agree with John.
Got to be easy, right? There's too much money at stake, which is an indictment, I think, on the hobby. There's too much money. Like, why are we spending $100? It makes sense to me. Somebody, has described to me that there was the cards that graded out were 5s or 6s, the Jordan rookies, right? So that's a no-brainer, throwing a couple in there to make it even look more authentic, and then still selling it for 6 figures. Do you think that a Jordan that's been in a wax pack for close to 40 years, 35, 36 years, do you think that would come out of a wax pack as a 6? Or do you think that that's a card that would have been handled a few times?
The quality control wasn't exactly great back then.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at a pop report, it kind of for Jordan rookies, it kind of peaks at around a 7 anyway.
Right. Okay. So that's normal then.
So I think it's plausible.
Pretty big gamble, don't you think? What is a?
I mean,
what
when
is
it comes to, I mean, when I say the quality control wasn't great, it has mostly to do with the centering of
Right.
these cards, and not necessarily the corners or sideware.
Yeah, I mean, Rocco, I'm in agreement with you, man. 36 packs. It's like bringing together 4 people doesn't necessarily make it a family, right? 4 human beings if you pull one off
So
every corner.
a callback to Victor's Tatis question: what do you do if you're a holder, right? You're a holder of a box. If you're a holder of loose packs, you got to not feel great. And do you move before things shift, or do you just wait and hope the esteem comes back? It's tricky.
The only thing I'm holding right now is my tongue because I have an opinion about that, and I'm not an
holding
investor.
something else, but this is a family show.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Long fly ball is here.
Hey.
Love that. Thank you, long fly ball. Does BBCE actually think anyone heard their excuse and said, "Sure, that makes sense"?
That's good.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows, right? Again, hot stove touchers, habitual hot stove touchers. I'm sure that somebody will do this again, and this will happen again. So I think Mike Moynihan said today on one of his shows that even if it happens 1 out of 100 times, like do we fault BBCE for making a mistake 1 out of 100 times? Well, how many things do you think they've authenticated over the years, right? Thousands. So the mistakes out there aren't 1 out of 100; they're 100 out of 10,000 or whatever. So probably in for more of this, right? I would imagine in the coming decades of this hobby, which is a strange hobby. James Furtado is here. Fertita. Sorry. Whoops. Farm League. Sports cards. Thank you, Farm League. We got Herman here. Herman's from the Georgia area. Thanks for coming, Herman. All that stuff. So, and Peeps is here. Peeps has the deepest voice.
And the most like the most. I don't know. When you have something that has a BBCE wrap, it brings such a premium in the hobby. There are so many high-end collectors that have invested probably millions of dollars at this point because they've been doing this for quite some time. And it's like everything is questionable now. And there's just so much damage control that needs to be done by BBCE, Baseball Card Exchange, that, my goodness. They got to do something here. They got to make a move on the marketing side, on the public relations side. They really need to get aggressive and try to fix this.
Yeah, part of me says that there's no way, that it's hard to rebuild your credibility. The other part of me says this is the sports card hobby.
Yeah,
and you often fall upward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fail upward. So. And I don't, like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't have a garage BBCE, but I think it's kind of silly that this stuff still happens. And then I imagine when you're a company like that and you have to get a lawyer involved to help you, go over your statement, and you have to maybe get a PR person involved, and it's a little out of hand, I believe. So, yeah.
Well, on a lighter note, talking about some dubious maneuvers around the 86 Fleer. This is 86 Fleer Decade of Excellence. Ultra Decade. The reprint that Fleer did on the 86 Fleer that I happen to have with me today because I was telling card stories at work today. And this is the only card that I've ever, when you butt dial somebody, I actually bought this, had it in my pocket camping. And I'm sure I had some kind of saved alerts come up and click, and boom, I woke up in the morning, realized I'd bought one of these. I'm glad I bought a $25 Decade of Excellence card instead of, a $20,000 gold bowl card or whatever, right? But it was kind of a pleasant surprise, and I saw it, and I was like, I'm not going to cancel. I'm just going to wait for this thing to come.
That's great, man. And it's a good story, right? It's a good story.
Exactly.
All right. Speaking of the investment angle here, I guess it's a little blip on the radar. The gang over there at Alt has raised some more money from some more what I call marks. You call suckers. I was trying to be politically correct, but you're absolutely right, Chris.
Marks.
You want to talk about that at all, Chris, or you have?
It kind of for those of you that were at the National, you couldn't escape a lot of this new money. Alt was everywhere, whatnot. There were some companies that were set up in corporate booths that I had never even heard of. And I still have no idea what they do.
Right.
And it kind of reminded me of a time in my life when I got a job with a Silicon Valley startup around 2000-ish. And I flew out. I lived in a hotel room in San Francisco for about a month. And you saw all these companies with a lot of venture capital, just tons of venture capital behind them. And you didn't know what they did, right, but they spent a lot of their money on marketing, right? And a couple of months later, they went out of business. 3 months later, the company that hired me went out of business.
Right.
So,
and that's I
one
out of 50.
A lot of the parallels between Silicon Valley of 1999, 2000, and the hobby of now. There's all this VC money sloshing around, and people don't know what to do with it. So,
right. Corey, what do you think? You got an opinion on the alt sitch?
A little bit, yeah. First off, I'll say there's a lot of great people that work there. I really like some of the folks that work there. And I'm sure they've gotten great opportunities to do so. AG, the OG, and Adam Lefko, and he's an advisor to them. And some of those folks that I know, but I just don't understand why this company needs so many machine learning AI specialists, right? Like, why do we have these high-level IT people doing it? And they keep saying they're on the cutting edge of something coming. But to me, it sort of feels like when someone comes in from the outside and they say something like, we are going to do X, Y, Z. We're going to go out and catalog all the cards and provide real-time prices. But they're from the outside, so they don't realize there's like this up-and-coming company, Card Ladder, at the time that's doing that, or who, maybe a few other companies. And suddenly they get into it, but they've been given, I don't know, $20 million to build this. And so they keep telling the investors, yeah, we're going to be the best, the premium one in the market. And really they're already behind because they weren't the first mover. And they just keep pushing that narrative or saying they're going to iterate into something else. And I just don't see where they're going. I love new blood in the hobby, good people, but this one is a head scratcher.
Yeah, I popped up a quick graphic, which is kind of disturbing to me, right? Because who'd have thought that I'll pop it up again, that you can borrow on margin now, and what that we're talking about talking about a hobby. We're not talking about traditional investment vehicles. So it seems like moving more to the mainstream investment wise, but that obviously look what happened to cryptocurrency, right? Government didn't know a lot about it, but they got involved in it pretty quickly and just started shooting before asking questions. So, I could see more involvement coming down the road with that. It's kind of a scary thing, borrowing on margin for cards and such. So, Victor, I know you did a little research here. Let us have it, man.
Yeah, no, it's a button on the keyboard. So
yeah,
Alt is a button on a keyboard.
Yep.
No,
yeah, Alt delete.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I ended up starting an account. I actually looked at my phone when I was doing a little bit of research on Alt, and I actually downloaded the app like months when it first came out. I downloaded the app, opened and started an account, and I played around in there just to kind of keep up with things, and that's about all as far as I went. Well, if for those who don't know what Alt is, they're basically a selling platform, and they work very similar to what like PWCC is doing. And my thing is, and I went back into my app. I opened up my app again in the last few days, and it's to me, it's very investor focused. It's nothing but extremely high end cards, stuff that me personally I will not be able to touch. And personally, I don't think the majority of the hobby is going to be will able to afford those kind of cards that are in there. Everything in there is like $3,000 on up. And it's like, my goodness, what percentage of the hobby can actually play around in that kind of money? And I think it's a extremely small percentage of hobbyists that can dabble in that. So what does alt have to offer to me as a low to mid end guy? Not much. And so and that's kind of where I'm at with it. I do know, kind of the backstory is what they're looking for $17 million more dollars, and that's the company that I believe Kevin Durant invested a large portion of his money along with two other gentlemen, and they're wanting to generate 17 million more dollars to take this business to the next level.
Well, what level is it at right now?
Of your first place Philadelphia Union, by the way.
What's that?
Minor league soccer, dude.
Oh,
Get out.
So what level are they at now, and what is the next level? Because I have no idea what they do. I mean, I do, but I don't. It doesn't affect me. So, and we use the word hobby. It's not hobby stuff when you're talking the numbers that you're talking. Obviously, Victor, I know we interchange the word hobby with what's going on, but I mean, are these really hobbyists? Are these are house flippers?
These aren't the guys that are hunched over dollar box looking to knock off their want list.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
Cool.
Got it. Need it. Might need it.
Let's get Corey in there before his car battery dies.
Well, there's this little piece of me that's like 5% of me says these clips are going to be cut though in 3 years, and we're going to look like ridiculous. Because sometimes these companies, they hang around until they do find that innovative idea, and they do have smart people. So I don't really know what they're doing now. I think they are just throwing stuff and trying the new thing, going from one service offering to the next. And it is a business. I know there's hobbyists there. I will say that. There's also some really high-end collectors, and the topic came up. Who is this for? Well, what if it does become for, Heritage isn't for everybody. Golden isn't necessarily for everybody. Christie's Auctions isn't for everybody. They could end up in a high-end segment of the market, which isn't, great for our, the general audience out here. But, I wouldn't be surprised. There is that, long shot 1 in 20 that they find something they hook onto. And my guess it might be even different than cards. We'll see what happens.
It's like getting back to my Silicon Valley 1999 parallel. For every Google that emerged, there were Pets.com and Alta Vista and
eToys,
dozen eToys and dozens of other companies that you never heard of.
Yeah, and my thing with the investing side of things, and I think it's great, that there's a market for that. But the problem is that it does affect collectors. When we look at the spikes in the hobby that we had last February through March, April of 2021, where everything just like 10x'd overnight, a lot of that does affect, the collectors as well. And many of us even stopped purchasing for a while to let this spike kind of die down some, because the sad reality is that what the high end does affects the low end as well.
And it also affects the kind of products that are being made for collectors,
Well, what's interesting about that is I think that there's the products aren't necessarily made for collectors anymore. Very few products are. They're made for the investors, right? You're talking about 4 card boxes of cards. That's not made for a collector. That's made for a hobby, an investor, or whatever, somebody trying to hit it big. And I agree with Dan Ryan here. I can't wait for the movie with Steve Carell. It's gonna be awesome. It'll be a bloodbath for sure, right? I mean, we think it's funny because you go to Facebook Marketplace, every collection you see on Facebook Marketplace has blue and green Don Ross cards and yellow Fleer cards, right, from that era. It's like they're still out there. This is going to be the same thing. We're going to have, people. The first Facebook Marketplace NFT dump. I can't wait to see what that looks like. Like I can't wait to see what the picture of that is on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody selling their NFTs. So
Fire sale.
It'll be a fire sale, right?
I just want to follow on to something that Victor mentioned. It was just really interesting side point to me when Victor is so smart when you said, a lot of us just stopped collecting when the prices went up. And people know me for collecting some weird cards and so on. But and as much as I like to think that it's my curiosity and just liking explore different things around culture, I think a big part of it was I couldn't really afford to collect some of the cards in basketball and football that I was after anymore. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to go try to put together sets of like tech founders or other weird things, right? Because I could have fun and I could buy cards for $5, $6, $20, whatever, not thousands of dollars every time.
Right. Well, you're absolutely right. Like the peak of the market was basketball and football. And if you were just trying to collect, it was like a riptide and you're not getting back to shore, right? You just have to swim along the coast until you can get back to and the odd part about that is where are basketball and football now, right? Like I think that they've dropped down behind baseball and then maybe other things as well. Pop culture cards, maybe. I don't know. You just don't hear that. There's not that pop on the football and basketball cards. And I'm curious as to whether it's August right now, and it seems kind of quiet in the football world to me. Maybe I don't know whether you guys are sensing the same thing as far as the hobby, but maybe there's lessons being learned, right? Maybe Trevor Lawrence could be might be the best quarterback for the next 15 years, but a lot of that stuff has died down. I think people may have gotten burned by that, and maybe I'd like to think they're learning, but maybe they're not. Maybe it's just what I'm sensing because I have blinders on and I'm not paying attention, but it's not in your face anymore, at least. What do you think? That good, huh? That was a great question I gave you. Yeah. All right, moving on. Hey, Chris, you brought something up for us old school people. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Tots has brought back the vending box for some reason. It's like we don't need another form of flagship. There isn't enough. We needed this.
Place to dump base cards.
Yeah. And the way, if you haven't seen these, the way it's structured, it's only for Series 2. And you get 165 base cards, so half the set, or a quarter of the full Topps 660 card base set. And you get 5 exclusive inserts from a rookie themed insert. And you can hit some low number parallels in the inserts, but all you get in the box is base cards and 5 inserts. Now, how much would you pay for that?
It's not a traditional 500 card vending.
No,
box,
it's only 165.
Or plus the 5, 165 plus 5. You're
plus
saying there's
the 5 inserts, which, let's be honest, are probably going to wind up in 50 cent and dollar boxes.
I'm going to buy them on Facebook Marketplace in a couple months, right?
So it's Series 2 Topps baseball?
Just Series 2.
Just
you
Series
get basically
it's brilliant
half
move, right?
the set.
So, I mean, that's where all the rookies are at, right? Series 2?
You don't get like those 3 at the Rodriguez, the 3 short prints.
Okay, no image variants.
No.
Okay.
No parallels in the base cards. No other inserts.
No SSPs or
no
SSSSPs.
gimmicks.
Just straight
None of that
base.
crap.
Straight base.
Straight base,
Straight
man. That's the
base.
way I like it.
Now, keep in mind that every Target and Walmart in America has just been bombarded with $50 factory sets.
Right.
You get the whole set for $50.
Oh my God.
Or you can get a quarter of the set for how much would you pay for this?
Let us have it. Come on.
$30.
Of course. Of
I'm
course.
like, who in their right mind would buy this? Who is
Right.
this for? Why? Why do we need this?
Right.
They're about
I'm
2 years
trying to
too late,
figure out-
man. They would have flown off the shelf 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Hurry, folks. Step right up.
Yeah. Bring your
Yeah.
gun to target. Fight
It
over.
does sound like an innovative way to raise that bottom price up. You know, they were all looking for ways to raise prices, but they couldn't because they'd committed to blaster packs. They should have come up with something like this, but it took 2 years to release it. And now, like you said, who is it for? Crazy.
But again, why would you buy a quarter of a base set for $30 when you can get the whole thing for $50?
I need an advocate to figure that out, man.
You'll get the rest of it in 2025.
So
Yeah.
what is the impetus? Does that mean, oh crap, we printed too many cards?
Maybe.
People aren't going to buy wax, so let's put a package together.
They didn't make as much Series 2 as they did Series 1. So maybe they were holding some of that back for this.
Yeah.
But I
So is this strictly retail, or is this retail and hobby? What's the?
think it's. I haven't seen them at retail. I think they're just hobby.
So your LCS it's getting dumped onto them to move these things, huh?
Probably.
Another shakedown for the LCSs, unfortunately.
Probably.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people that are
$30
mocking me.
for a quarter of a set.
Yeah, that's great for cards that nobody wants. Very few people, the freaky deeks who are consider themselves set builders, right? Which, Mike
Yeah.
Moynihan.
You've
strolls in.
already built your set by opening up the packs, or you just paid $50 at the local
Yeah.
Target to get your factory
That's
set.
what I was going to say. Mike Moynihan walks in his cowboy boots and spurs, and slaps his factory set on the counter. And he's a good American. He doesn't use self checkout. He uses he waits in line and uses a little conveyor belt, and has hey girl time with the checkout, and walks out with his factory set. It's ridiculous. These I want to be in that conference room when someone says that is a great idea. Let's sell 165
Love it,
cards.
pal.
Yeah, for 2/3 of the price of
Right.
an entire set.
We'll sell you a quarter of it.
Again, that person's going to fall upward. That's going to be the
Yeah.
director of
well,
marketing for Zero Cool any
I-
day now.
I want to think somebody was twirling a mustache while this conversation was happening too.
hmm.
Hey guys, John, Victor, Chris. It's starting to get dark here, and I'm in a kind of a questionable strip mall area, and I have a George Mikan rookie on me, so I probably
Look at you,
need to get out of here.
Ooh, you're hiding the good stuff on us.
Hey, when the cop pulls him over, this is what Corey does. He flashes slabs like you know who I am.
Yeah, we're in Minneapolis, here,
License
so
and
they might actually know who he is. Yeah.
Thanks
Anyway,
for stopping by,
cheers.
man.
Take care, everybody.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Corey.
Thanks.
Catch you
All right.
later, man.
Later.
Yeah, that's you alluded to that during the when we were pre-gaming, but you didn't tell me how ridiculous that whole concept was, Chris.
Yeah.
That's
It
amazing.
is.
And so this is new for 2022, I assume, right?
This is new for 2022.
And
new
it's
for
strictly
Series 2. They were
just
not
Series
in Series
2.
1.
Right.
So
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world, I guess. I don't
no, it
I don't
doesn't.
know. The only thing I could think of is they had so many millions of those vending card boxes left over from the 70s and the 80s that they just wanted to throw 500 cards into more of those boxes. But the
Well, it's not
packaging.
500 cards, though.
I know that's what's weird. Like I could see them stuffing 500 cards
You
in.
can see that, yeah. And,
Yeah, but
yeah.
are they?
It
cut
is. It
differently?
does look like that blue box.
That blue, the infamous blue box, right?
Yeah, but it has Vladimir Guerrero on it.
Hold on a second. We have somebody calling in from the Texas Republic here.
No.
What's up?
Oh,
How are you, man? How's
Okay, Chris.
how's Trigger doing? You give Trigger an apple?
Yeah, I did. So, Chris, I saw these today at this card shop I went to. I've never seen them. I was like, "What?" It wasn't this vending box.
no.
Yeah, that's the one. I figure there's billions of those they
About-
made. Right?
It's smaller,
This is
but
86.
it looks like that.
Yeah, it looks like it. I
Has
was like,
picture cards.
"What?" There's a vending box, and it's 20. You know, it was really weird. You're right. Get this instead.
Get that.
Right.
But somebody said that factory sets have different cards. That's not true. It's just the set. It does have, like the Walmart set, which is this one, has
No, don't get
5
the one.
limited. It could be a parallel set, possibly, right? That's kind of cool. It's got
No, it's not, because that's not what I wanted.
right.
I just want base cards.
He wants 4 vending boxes.
It's got the image variations, and the Walmart has the 5 exclusive foil board.
Who cares? You're never going to open a thing.
Be a parallel.
You could have cinnamon waffles in there, dude, and it won't matter.
Don't do
look at
it. No.
We're
We just,
opening
we
it right
just
now.
shamed him. We
Nope.
just shamed him for opening.
You just all right. That did it.
Dude.
Right.
How many? How many do you? I hope you get 5 Johnsons.
One in
Right.
3 chance
5
of getting
Johnsons.
your, you
Just
know what,
because-
ripped off.
Holy crap, man!
Let's
You're
see.
being
5 Johnsons right now.
5 Johnsons.
just ripped it. Suck it,
Crazy.
John. No,
What is,
okay.
you're
let's see what we get.
so easy, man. You're
All right, so here's
easy.
these are the same 5 rookie parallels in every set.
I thought you already had it slabbed. It came out.
I got a base set, so that's good, Chris. I just got. But let's see who I got as my foil boards, because these are numbered to 2.
No autos or anything in there. There's no relics, right? It's just,
That
Parallel
can't be
board.
right.
No.
as Ziggy would say, exclusive parallels.
Exclusive parallels are like numbered to 800 this year or something.
875.
875,
Do
yeah.
the math real quick on how many of these sets they made.
Well, I actually did the math last year when they were numbered to like 790, and they made over 1 million of them.
Oh man, I think we
And they
just
were
extended the show.
still, as of maybe about a month ago,
that
still at
was
the
a-
Walmarts here in Southern Delaware. So
That was
who
a
are your
long,
5?
Who'd you get? How many? You got 5 Tatises.
Michael Taylor, Mark Canha, Josh Naylor, Christian Vasquez, and Shane Bieber. So, and they are numbered
Nice.
to
One decent player. And
75. Holy crap. How many of these are, golly.
yeah, these will be collecting dusts on the shelves of every Walmart in America for the next
No, yeah,
11 months.
right,
So
right. So, what do you think about this, Victor? Am I
What's that?
picking a nearly healed scab, long fly ball? The factory set Series 1 cards have a larger RC logo.
I knew the pack
Yeah.
have a smaller one, right? But the factory set has a bigger one. Is that what the?
yeah, because in
Series
Series 2, they made the logo the same size as the it's
It's just a gimmick. That's all it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe John goaded me into opening that set.
That's now you gotta go. Now you gotta get back on your horse. And go buy another one.
Go spend another $59.98. Maybe
So I
you
gotta
might
have
get
a-
the
Wow.
gold star.
Yeah, Logan wants you to send it to BBCE. Just,
So,
I think that would make sense.
now,
Have
but
you
now
ever
I have to-
seen-
now I do have to go spend $70 more.
Yeah, I'll buy that off you. I'll buy it. You keep the parallels. I'll buy that off you for $25.
Thanks.
How's that sound? Unsealed. I don't care.
I'm going to take all the good rookies out of it and you can have it. No,
Yeah.
it's going into a binder. I was going to open it anyway. It
Oh,
just-
really? You're gonna
yeah.
put that in a binder? Huh.
Yeah.
So you're gonna buy the Christmas cards? When do they come out?
I actually
'Cause I
love
just
the
saw-
Christmas tops.
Yeah.
set. I think it's just quirky and weird and fun. And those come out in early December.
Okay. I mean, I already saw
The
pumpkins
same
today.
cards you just bought, but with a candy cane on them.
I think it's kind of fun. I mean,
Come on.
I'm a sucker Call me a sucker.
Yeah.
What do you got there,
you're a
Victor? What's that?
fucking Mark.
I don't know. Zach
he
and Porter
peeing in
made a comment on my little water bottle.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Very observant young man.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. When's 5-star coming out? Any idea?
2023.
2020. Well, I mean, that's if it's anything like 21 platinum anniversary, right? Have you bought into that at all, Mike? We froze.
I don't know.
Oh, there he is.
I can find out.
Yeah, 2021. Because I was told by my LCS that the reason 21 Chrome Platinum Anniversary took so long was because they're all on card autographs, which makes sense. And it's the way it should be, right? I would think.
Yeah.
I got
They've
Mark.
been making so many damn Chrome stock cards that kind of pushed this one off.
It's a nice set. It's a good looking set. I mean, I'm a fan of the 52 tops, obviously. I'd rather see that than the 87 tops, but it's just, more in my range as far as
I just got this in. Is this any good? Can anybody in the chat maybe tell me?
What is that? Is that the Platinum Anniversary?
Platinum Anniversary.
Yeah. So I didn't know.
Box,
right?
I
didn't know they had the retail because
this
is the hobby box, I guess, is right here, right?
I don't know. I got this through tops.com, so I don't know if it's.
What do you get in there? Because you get one auto in each one of these. You get an auto in each one of these. You probably don't get that where you are. Maybe you get a refractor or something like that.
9 packs, 4 cards per pack. There you go.
That's it, huh? A little slap on the rear end on the way out the door, maybe. What did that cost you?
$59 on tops.com.
Wow.
What?
Damn.
Yep.
For 36 cards?
Yep.
So is it on Fanatics? Is it on the Fanatics site too, or no?
I don't know.
Because I have I've said before that I go to Costco and I buy $100 Fanatics gift card for $80. So I would more likely shop on Fanatics than Tops for that stuff.
That's a good idea, John.
Yeah.
Rarely do you have them, so I have to point it out when you do.
Thank you. Hey,
5-star, August 31st, 2022. So 2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right. Remind me of that, please.
You like 5-star?
I do. I mean, I love. Truth be told, I really didn't care until I saw your case behind you, and I like what you got going on there.
Sucker. See, we're all suckers in our own different ways, right?
I mean, it's got the older stuff in there. That's what I care about. Maybe I'll pull a Yaz auto
Mike,
or something like that.
What's the update on your son building those cases? Is that a go or?
That is a go. We're not ready to bring it out there in the world yet, but that's happening.
You ready to give up your garage?
No, it's happening at my dad's house, which is
perfect. Even better.
I don't have a shop here, so
good stuff, man.
Mike,
that'll be fun. That I, especially since I'm on record saying Dallas is the epicenter of the hobby, it should be a really good place for him to launch that stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited about. It's going to be kind of a part-time. He's got to have a regular job that he can actually make money at, and so it'll be in my dad's workshop. Don's mentioning that totally in my dad's shop, and my dad's going to help him kind of work on some things. He's got some other guys that are going to work with him, and I think it could be successful. We'll see.
So you're going to set up at the DCS? You think?
He is.
Yeah, yep. Smart, huh?
Probably starting early next year.
That'd be great. So prototypes are being thought of right now, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Great. What are we going to use? Bolivian wormwood, Russian poplar? What's the plan here?
We're going to use some Bodark and some.
Is that really a wood?
It is, but it's super hard. Like you know.
Hey. Well, tell him to buy an 86 Fleer box. There's plenty of Johnsons, so he should be able to find some wood in there.
Michael Ham asked, or I think it was him, what do I think about Trout? I don't know. What am I supposed to think about Trout? I think he's still he could retire tomorrow. He's still a Hall of Famer, like best player of his generation.
So let me ask you a question here real quick, and not to prolong this too much. You got Mike Trout, you got Albert Pujols, and you have Ken Griffey Jr. Who had the better 10-year span, do you think?
Pujols.
Pujols did it from the get-go, right?
Look at the numbers. It's from 01 or from 01 to 11. Like,
right.
Give me a break.
So the only if Trout is able to accumulate, he should do all right. But he might not have that last 10 years to accumulate, or he might not care. He might not. He's built a little bit differently, wired a little bit differently than everybody else. He probably has no problem walking away if it's not. If he doesn't want to play baseball instead of just sticking around
the Philly area, he's got a few screw looses already.
Screw looses. That's true. He does, and he's an Eagles season ticket holder. So
yes,
why give up your Septembers to play losing baseball in Anaheim when you can watch the Eagles from the sideline, right?
And watch them lose 12 games.
Don says Trout is in already.
I
right?
agree, 100%.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why is Thurman Munson not in already? Because Thurman Munson had a great 10 years as a catcher, but they say that Thurman Munson didn't play long enough.
Well,
Mattingly?
There's a difference between being really good and no. Like I have huge mad respect for Thurman Munson.
Right.
Trout's on another level. How many batting?
For sure, offensively. But I'm saying in context to the times when catchers were it was a grueling position back then for catchers. They played 150 plus games, right? They weren't expected to hit anything over 240, right? And Munson was around 300 most of his career. He led that team, handled the pitchers, handled the other players on that team. So I think that there's other things involved there other than just the offensive stats. It was a different game, too. You lead a league with 34 home runs, and you were a superstar back then.
I think if Joe Mauer and Buster Posey get in, then you got to put Munson in, I think.
I totally – that's a great point.
And I think Joe Mauer and Buster Posey will get into the Hall of Fame.
And then Yachty and Salvi, right? Like –
yeah. Well, Yachty's getting in, but he wasn't better offensively than Munson, right?
I'd take Munson every day of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yachty.
Yeah. Well, that was I'm glad we got that in because at least we talked a little bit about the yonder days.
Good evergreen topic.
An evergreen topic. A rich fountain of wonderful baseball chat, and I've been told it's not baseball hotline, so we shouldn't probably talk about baseball so much. But anyway, thanks for coming, guys. Mike, thanks for calling in. Appreciate that. Sorry, I'm trying to get Don's comment off. That's about it, right? I guess Hobby Hotline is going to be on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. coming up. I'm not quite sure who is on that yet because I'm hoping I'm still walking around by Saturday at this point. So thank you, Victor. What's up, Chris?
One thing I want to mention before I leave, and that's Baseball Cardpedia. Yes, it is down. My partner in it forgot to pay the server bill. My partner is very hard to get a hold of.
It's hard to find a mea culpa in this hobby, man. Well done, Chris.
I'm working on it. So
yeah. I actually looked the other day and it was down. I was like, what the heck? Is it gone?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I told him to put it on auto pay, but
that's too
whatevs,
easy.
Right? That's why you don't have partners, man. You got to be a solo act, like Victor and I. We sleep well at night.
I don't know how to run a server though.
Yeah.
I used to, but
hey, all kidding aside, all kidding aside, Chris, man, this is the first time I had a chance to do the show with you, and I don't know if you know how valuable that website is. In my opinion, that is one of the best websites the hobby has. It has helped me in the work that I do with rookie cards tremendously. What an amazing work. And I have a website, so I know the grinding hours that's involved in building something like that. So I really appreciate the work that you and your partner do. And what a resource. If you guys are out there and don't know about Baseball Cardpedia, man, get with the program and check.
Don't go there now, though.
Don't go there now.
Now.
You got to pay the bill first.
Let me check.
Yeah, I use it as well, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
it,
still
Chris. Thank you. It's wonderful. So, one of the unsung heroes of the hobby. We appreciate it.
And
Your
if
partner-
the
your
national
partner's a
ever
bit of an
comes
idiot,
back to Cleveland, I'll maybe introduce you to my partner. He's also
Yeah.
named Chris. So,
Oh, that's real original. It's like naming your kid John, right?
yeah. Must be something about
Or
kids
Mike.
born in the 70s.
Oh my Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Victor. Tell us where we can find you and everything you're about.
Oh, on YouTube, Victor, the Rookie Card Specialist, on any social media platform at true_RCS.
Chris, tell us where we can't find you.
Well, you can't for now on baseballcardpedia.com. You can follow me on Twitter at StaleGum. You can read like a decade's worth of old blog posts at stalegum.com. And keep on rocking in the free world.
Real quick, why do you say keep on rocking in the free world?
I kind of stole it from this guy. He's a DJ in Vancouver. His name is Nardwar the Human Serviette.
Okay.
Seriously, you should look up this guy on YouTube. He's a very
I want to see the back of his softball. Yeah, I want to see the back of his softball jersey.
Yeah. He's a very unusual looking man with a weird voice. But when he interviews like rappers or rock stars or comedians, he does his homework.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything, but he some of his interviews are just amazing. The things that he asks, the questions that he asks, but he always ends his interviews with "Keep on rocking in the free world" and "doot doot doot doot," and then the guest is supposed to say "doot doot." So Nardwar, just type it into YouTube. And
I'm a big fan of Suat, SUAT. If you look that up in YouTube, he's my DJ. But Mike, how are you going to top that?
I can't. Nobody wants to watch me anyway, so it's all good.
Well, thanks for popping in, man. We appreciate it. I know you're probably putting your horse's tail in a ponytail or something, but we really appreciate you coming by. And
Norman,
thanks for
John, that I'm not with him. I'm with you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. Episode 173. See you guys on Saturday, 11, 10, 9, 8, 11 and a half, 12 and a half, whatever time you guys want to listen. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
On Saturday.
Exactly. Newfoundland. And that's it. As Chris says, keep on rocking in the free world, and away we go. Thanks, chaps. Appreciate it.